Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel's Making with Marilyn. Now I do all things crafty, but on today's video, I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful bling bag. So stick around. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Once you do, click the bell, select the all notification so that YouTube lets you know anytime I upload new content. Now let's go ahead and just jump into the project. So here's mainly what I'm going to use on today's project. And the first thing I want to show you are the rhinestones that I'm going to use. Now I got these from the Baby's Booty, and she does a rhinestone buy-in about once a month. And she's in the middle of one right now. Now this color is Hyacinth. And so you can see that's kind of an orangish golden color. It is beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And of course, these are hot fix rhinestones, which means they attach to fabric. They have a glue on the back. You heat it up on your substrate. It melts the glue. It sticks to whatever you're putting it on. And they are really fun to play with. Okay, so the new color she has is Hyacinth AB. Now, AB stands for Aurora Borealis. And that's a coating that goes over the top of these, and it gives the rhinestones a beautiful iridescent sheen. So on today's project, we're going to mix these two colors. Now I say mix, we're not going to mix them. We're going to use both colors. I'll put it that way, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. So other things I'll use, I'm going to use this little trim brush to brush my rhinestones into my template. Another option is this larger one, but I really prefer the small one. And then I have a rhinestone picker tool. Now I'm going to put my rhinestone design on this black canvas tote. I just picked this up at Michael's. They're not very expensive. And then the first thing I did was I went ahead and used a lint roller, and I rolled off the excess fabric or the excess fibers and lint, that kind of thing. Then I went ahead and pre-pressed this to get it smooth and to remove moisture. Now here's your typical rhinestone flock, and you use this to cut your templates if you're not buying a pre-made template. So this is the gold standard. This is excellent material. This is the first time I'm doing this design, so I used a glitter cardstock. Now hopefully you can tell that says blessed, and then I'll have a ring around it or an outline around it. And so I'm going to do the word blessed in that Hyacinth AB, and then the outline around it will be just Hyacinth. Now after I get my rhinestones brushed in, I'll pick them up with this hot fix tape. So let's just go ahead and get started so you can see this process. Now because I'm using cardstock, unlike the regular rhinestone flock, regular rhinestone flock is sticky on the bottom, so it holds it down to your table or your work surface. Since this is not sticky on the back, I need to tape this down. Otherwise, it's going to kind of float up, my stones can get under it, and it's just not good. Okay, so the bulk of my design is going to be this Hyacinth AB because I just think they're beautiful. So I'm just going to dump a lot on. And then I'm going to use my little rhinestone tool. And again, this is actually just a trim paintbrush. But it works great for this. And I'm just going to take these in circular motions, and they fall into the holes of the template. Now, if those holes are cut right, this is a pretty fast process, even on this glitter cardstock. Look at how beautiful those are. My gosh, this is my first time to use these, and I cannot wait to get these pressed on that black bag. Now, I love to do rhinestone templates, and I definitely prefer to press rhinestones on really dark fabric. So I usually make t-shirts. And it's pretty typical for me to put these on black t-shirts. Not always. but usually. Okay, so now we need to fine tune this. I'm just looking for any holes that haven't been filled. Gonna rub these around one more time. Then it's going to be time to brush the excess ones off. So I'm just going to come straight down, and I'm not pushing very much. Really, I'm mainly just pulling it toward me and letting the weight of the brush do the work. I'm pushing down a little bit, but just not very hard. And I see I have some holes to fill, but that's okay. If I were using the true rhinestone flock, those holes fill in a little bit better. But until I have this design perfected, this is just going to save some money. Now these cardstock ones, they have a limited life. You can't reuse them as many times as you can the actual flock. But they're good for trying out new designs or for one-time designs. All right, so I'm going to take off any excess ones that I see and put those in empty holes. And then sometimes you accidentally get two stones kind of piggybacked in one hole, so you need to make sure and look for that. Now I'll go back over this with a fine-tooth comb, but I think my bee's good. And it looked like I just had two empty holes in my L. And there's an extra one. I should have just put that in my E. But you get the process. So I'll go ahead and finish this, and then we'll pick it up with the hot fix tape. Okay, so I think I'm good to go. So I'm just going to move these excess ones out of the way while I pick this up. I don't want my hot fix tape to accidentally grab some of these loose stones. So the hot fix tape is on a backing. Now I've used this, I think, 2 times before. You can reuse it until it's no longer sticky enough to pick up your stones. Now the beauty of this glitter cardstock is not much sticks to glitter cardstock. And so you can lay your hot fix tape down on that and pull it right back up. All right, so I'm going to hold this over my design, get it somewhat close, and have it a little bit arched. I'm going to lay it down in the middle and then put the sides down. Now once you start going down with this, you just have to commit. You can't pick up some stones and lay it back down. It's just easier to do it all in one motion. So then I'm going to take my hands and just press down on these to make sure I have good contact with this hot fix tape, especially because I have used it before a couple times. Now if any of those stones jumped out of their holes and they're in the wrong place, you can use your fingernail and push them back over into the right place. But I think mine look fine. So then to store this until I'm ready to press it, which I'm going to do in just a minute, you just pick this up, make sure all your stones come up. If stones don't come up, you're going to press it back down or lay it back down, push on the top of it, and try again. Now in my case, it looks like they're all coming up just fine. So I'm just going to store this right here upside down. Then I can take my backing material set it back down. So I'll do the exact same thing on the outline. I'll just fast forward through it. Then we're ready to get this on the tote. Okay, so the view from the camera is a little bit better over here. So I'm going to do my first press, or I'm going to get my first layer ready for the press right here. This is just the pad off my heat press. Now my heat press is set for 350, and I'm going to press these for 12 seconds. Now I'm going to have to do this in 2 presses. So I think I'll go just about 10 seconds or so for my first press. Then my second press, I'll do the full 12 seconds. Now the bag will flatten out about right here once it has stuff in it. So that looks decently centered from the top to the bottom. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just my bag. But I can tell it needs to go to the right just a little bit. All right, one more little adjustment and then I'm going to call that good. So like I mentioned, I'm going to press these at 350, the first layer for about 10 seconds, then I'll put the second layer on and do 12. Since I'm only doing 10 seconds, I'll pull that off when it gets to 2. Then I'm going to peel the top layer off. So while this is hot, you can go ahead and pull that hot fix tape off, but I am going to let it cool down a little bit before I put my second layer on. I don't want to accidentally lay it down while it's too hot and have those rhinestones start to stick. Now remember, that hot fix tape is reusable. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back on its backing and try to get just a few more uses out of it. Isn't that cute? Those colors together are beautiful. I kind of really like mixing oranges, pinks, reds, and yellows. That's gorgeous. I love this. We're getting ready to start a new school year. I work at a school, so I'm going to use this to cart my laptop and my files back and forth each day. Now again, my design is not perfect. There's some things I need to fix, but I was really focusing on these rhinestones today. So this outside outline is Hyacinth, and the inside, the word blessed, is the Hyacinth AB. These are all SS10 rhinestones. That's just a size, and it's a fairly common size for working with hot fix rhinestones on shirts, bags, things like that. All right, let's take one more good look at these stones. So pretty, so blingy. And would you rather take this to work or this to work? I love this. Now, thanks so much for joining me for my video, and until my next one, bye-bye.